Thank you for visiting the website of the practice of classical homeopathy. In the next few minutes I will explain how classical homeopathy works and how you can benefit from it. For starters, in classical homeopathy we always have our focus on the whole of the patient. We do not treat localized complaints. As far as classical homeopathy is concerned, each and every symptom of pathology is connected with the rest of the patient. Hence, the whole of the patient needs to be considered. In treatment, we will always apply a therapy which addresses the whole of the patient and not just one localized symptom. Furthermore, in classical homeopathy, we consider each and every suffering present in a patient as an individual suffering. No matter what the diagnosis may be, the suffering is always unique. Hence, in treatment, we have to adhere to this fact and find a therapy which is individually tailored to the individual suffering. We do not apply off-the-shelf treatments according to this or that diagnosis. The diagnosis has got some relevance, but is not the basis of our prescription. The individual expression of the patient is the basis of our prescription. As far as classical homeopathy is concerned, symptoms we see in a patient, pathological symptoms of the patient, are not the disease per se. They may cause this or that inconvenience in the patient, but the reason why they are there in the first place is due to an underlying force, a driving force, the life force, which expresses symptoms of pathology in the periphery. Now we address this fact in our therapy, and our treatment accesses this vital force, this life force, and eliminates pathology on that level. There is no point getting rid of symptoms of pathology without actually altering and improving the life force per se. Furthermore, as far as classical homeopathy is concerned, every patient is an expression of nature. Every patient is an optimal functioning unit of nature. Even though we have pathology, the responses we see in the patient are the best possible way how this patient can cope with the stress of the current situation and stress accumulated over the lifetime. In that respect, every pathology we see in a patient is an effort of the patient, of this optimal functioning unit of nature, to minimize the damage and keep the sacrifice as small as possible. In that respect, the pathology we see in a patient is a protection from worse states of pathology. We adhere to this fact in homeopathy and enhance this protection by applying a similar homeos suffering pathos. In order to cure, a therapy must stimulate the inborn healing forces of a patient. Cure cannot happen from a drug. Cure cannot happen from a practitioner. Cure can only happen from within. It is always an achievement of the patient. In order to achieve real cure, we need to stimulate these healing forces. Stimulation will always have to be subtle. Any stimulation above this subtleness may be overwhelming and may cause further detriment to the patient. Hence, our therapy needs to stimulate the healing forces with a minimum dose.